the beginning of a new month, and that means that this show is the July market recap for Des Moines and Central Iowa. I've got a ton of stuff to talk about this week. There's been a lot of activity that happened over the month of July, and I tell you, the looking back over the last 6 months and 7 months, really starting to tell the story about 2024. So, without any more delay, let's get started. Hey there, Les Solgrove here with Simply Des Moines and Des Moines Market Values. This is week 31. It's our goodbye show for the month of July. And as we get started, again, I always want to thank you for tuning in every week. If you enjoy the content and find it valuable, please hit that share button and subscribe, and then also click that notification bell on YouTube. Your support helps this channel grow and create more and more great videos for all of you. And just a reminder, I don't charge a thing for my product every week. I do this for the simple love of the marketplace and helping agents out. So let's get started here. Um, this has been an interesting year as far as inventory. We all know inventory is on the grow and pending sales are slowing down. This graphic shows you a side-by-side comparison monthly of where our inventory levels were. This is the newly listed homes and newly pended homes by month. We're going to actually look at inventory levels in a minute, but this is the actual newly listed properties compared to pendings. And the one thing you'll notice here is that the spread is getting more narrow, which means that if we're not careful here in the next couple of months, it's possible we could go into an inverted market again, because we've got a little over 100 homes difference between our homes for sale and our pendings. And once those pending sales get below our inventory levels, that's what we consider that inverted market, where we have more homes for sale than we have in the closing process. So looking at this month, we had 999 new listings added to the MLS. And if you look at that graphic, year over year, the little lines there, you can see that we are slightly above 2022 for that month, but still behind 2023. The black line right here is 2023's inventory levels. And the one thing you'll see as we get closer to the third quarter or the fourth quarter of the year, you'll see that things tend to get more consistent as we get toward the end of the year. So all the previous years have been pretty close together after we got to September. But they're kind of all over the place as we are in the first half of the year, looking back over the last 3 years. Um, we're down a little bit from June. We had our peak month was May, where we had just under 1,100 homes added to the listing content or listing database. And we're down to just under 1,000, which is the first time we've been under 1,000 since April here. Still not as few as April at 986, but that's kind of the path we're on. Now, as far as the pending sales go, again, you can kind of see if you look at the spaghetti line here, that red, blue, and black line, 2023 is last year, and we are still behind last year's pace. Not too far behind it, but just still enough that it's making a difference here in the marketplace. The month of April was the month where we saw the highest number of homes go under contract, which is fairly typical for our marketplace. And we've kind of held our own at 1105, just one pending sale shorter than or fewer than the month of June. So in essence, we're kind of leveling out that count. Looking at the closed sales by month again, the peak month for the last 2 years, the last 2 years was June. You had to go back to 2021 before you would actually see a little bit higher peak sales, and that was coming off of the COVID years there. So that's probably why we saw a little bit later month where we saw a peak of closed sales. 1,215 homes closed the month of July, up a little bit from June, which is a good sign because we were seeing closed sales a little bit higher and then dropped off in June from May to June. And I've got a graphic here in a minute we'll show you that kind of shows you this back and forth action we're seeing as we move through the year. We kind of seem like we're catching up and then we slow down, and we're catching up and we're slowing down in those pending sales. And this is the graphic I'm going to talk about to show you that. This is the closed sales at the end of the month, um, per month. So in the month of January here, we closed 510 sales, and then as we move through, this is the accumulated closing. So it's not, we didn't close 1168 the month of February. This is where we were at the end of February. 1,168 homes closed, 2,347 the month of March, and so on. We're currently sitting at 7,435 at the end of the month, and we're expecting closed sales to end somewhere between that 13,000 and 14,000 closed sale mark by the end of the year. And if we apply over this graphic the previous year's closed sales, you can kind of see the little diamonds and the blue number shows where we were at these specific points in 2023. And we started the year off a little ahead of January, a little bit more ahead in February, a nice jump in the month of March. And we were jumping way ahead, and that was giving us the idea that, hey, maybe this year is going to be a better year, as far as more active year, I should say, than what we have seen in previous years. And as we get down the line here, the month of April kind of slowed down just a little bit back up in the month of May. But then the month of June, we had this huge jump, and it's not unheard of. I mean, that's obviously our busiest time of year, but it was really good to see the pace of sales pick back up and closings. And we were a pretty good amount ahead the month of June, but then the month of July here is hit, and you can see that we are almost even. In fact, we're just a little bit behind last year. So this catching up and slowing down, catching up and slowing down, is telling us that even though we're kind of in the same line that we've seen year over year, it still tells me we're going to close somewhere between that 13 and 14,000 closed sales, maybe hitting into the 15,000 closed sales. So we'll see what happens there. But the end of December last year, the actual end of December, before all the closed sales came in that came in after the end of the year, which they do, but this is the actual number that we recorded on December 31st, was 13,069. So that will put us closer to that 14,000 as we get to the end of the year. As far as pricing goes, the last groups that we were talking about were all unit numbers. So the number of sales, number of pendings, number of homes on the market. Now we're going to talk a little bit about pricing and do kind of a similar look at the marketplace. So the one thing I want you to notice here is the past 4 months, our median list price has been pretty steady here. The dash line, don't get confused on the dash line. Dash line is last year's numbers, but the green columns here show that we've been right around that $369,000 to $370,000 price point pretty consistently at the list price for the last 4 months. And, this is the time of year we start to see some of the higher end inventory start to come off the market, and or maybe some more of the lower inventory pricing come on the market. So this is median. So half of the homes listed are above 369.9 and half the homes listed are below. We tend to see that drop just a little bit, as you can see from last year's numbers. Will we see that happen this year? It's going to be hard to tell because we are not really trending the same as we did last year. We had our peak in April of last year and May, and then started this trend downward. Uh, when we look at this from the closed sale standpoint, and this one also does, by the way, include days on market to give you an idea about the pace of the market. But looking at the closed sale pricing, last month we did hit that high point of 308,000 was our median sale price. But immediately in the month of July, that dropped back down to just under $300,000. And I think that's somewhat to do with the fact that mortgage interest rates are starting to come down a little bit. Confidence is back in the market just a little bit more. Home buyers that have been holding off are like going, okay, we have to buy before we're going to get in before the end of the summer timing for the school year to start back up in August. So it's kind of natural to see maybe some of these pricing start to come down, because if you look at the last year's trending here, it kind of did the same thing, but we're just above where we were last year. So median sale prices are up a little bit over the last year. And again, just to look at this on a comparison side by side for list price to sale price, there's that 369 the last 4 months, and what we've done here. So um, it's it's um, it's just interesting looking at the graphics and the market when you're looking at side by side in these two different categories here. So there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of questions about, price appreciation this year and compared to the last several years. So I created this graphic, 2 or 3 months ago, and I'm bringing it back this month just because it's an interesting graphic to look at. This is the home price appreciation um, based on the sale price. So it doesn't mean that this is what home values have done, but it's just showing you where the home sale prices are going over time. And back in 2016, our median sale prices were somewhere between that 175 and 180 thousand, $180,000 price point. 2017 to 2018, it was on a gradual rise, 18 to 19, and so forth. And this is where we are today, just under that $300,000 price point. Well, where's COVID in all of this? And did COVID really affect our overall sale prices when you look at it from this long perspective? And yes, while we do see a 45% increase from April of 2019 till July of 2024, if you look at the trend line, this was probably going to happen, and it probably did happen regardless of COVID. Yeah, we had some spikes in pricing, but overall, um, if you look at this graphic here, and I put that trend line on there, that trend line is following pretty close to what we would have probably seen without COVID. So, did COVID affect pricing? Yes, it did. It certainly has. But this idea that prices are way, way up because of COVID and the results of COVID after COVID was declared, the emergency declarations were ended in May of 2023. I'm telling you, it looks like that had COVID not occurred, this is about where we would expect to have been anyway. So take that for a grain of salt. I know it doesn't feel like it because memories are short. We all think that interest rates should still be down around 3%, and they're not. Um, but if you look at it from the long tail here, it's pretty much right on track. So, a couple more graphics. This is the price reductions versus price increases. The blue are the reductions. We continue to see home sellers making price adjustments. 1,570 homes had price reductions the month of July. And if you look at that black line there, last year we actually saw fewer homes, um, fewer listings have price reductions under 1,200, and that was a reduction over the month of June last year. So we are still seeing a larger number of price reductions as this market kind of is seeing a little bit of a slowdown from buyer activity. We do see a little bit of an increase month over month for the month of July, and I'm going to chalk most of that up to probably new construction and their second half of the year inventory coming online and seeing some of those prices adjust up a little bit. But 139 is not an out of line number that we've seen. Not certainly not like what we've experienced here in the price reduction lines. And so the last graphic here of this week's show is months of inventory by price point. Again, just kind of gives you an idea that, the stability of our marketplace. The yellow is less than 4 months inventory, which is a seller's market. We're really not too far out of a seller's market in that $400,000 to $500,000 price point. That's defined as balanced markets is defined as between 4 and 6 months. In fact, we're seeing that balanced market all the way up through the above 1 million point after that 800. The only part of our marketplace where we're seeing more than 6 months of inventory, which would be considered a buyer's market, is really that six to $800,000 price point. And that's kind of a tough price range. It's up there for most home buyers are not buying in that price point. We're seeing the majority of our sales, again, if you remember, the median sale price was under 300,000. So most of the sales are happening, um, underneath this point. But it's kind of nice to see that it's kind of an even market in that 800 to above $1 million price points as we move forward through the year. So get my big head out of the way here. Uh, just a reminder, each week you can go to DesMoinesMarketValues.com. If you have got your camera handy, pull it out real quick here, and this will take you directly to the YouTube channel. But I just want to remind you that we do have all of our latest videos on DesMoinesMarketValues.com, and going all the way back to when we started the YouTube channel. All of the show graphics for every week are on here, as well as if you want to go back and look at the annual State of the Market review for last year. I will tell you, this is a very, very heavily uh, loaded up graphics show this week. Not as many for the actual YouTube show, but if you go to download show graphics or follow one of the links in the final show, you're going to see I've got 45 graphics this week that I'm including. This is the end of the month report. A lot of those I didn't put into this week's show. In fact, right about here is where the show graphics were. And then I've pulled all the graphics I used plus some that I haven't used in this week's show. So I've got 45 graphics this week, and that's all available at DesMoinesMarketValues.com. So, all right, well, that's the show. We'll see you all again next week. We'll talk a little bit about some how the reduction in the 30-year fixed rate mortgages are affecting things. Hopefully, we'll have some announcement as to whether or not we're going to see a rate cut here within the month of September. They keep talking about it. Sounds like we are due for a rate cut for the end of the year. So that's the show. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you all again next week. Take care and stay cool. Enjoy the Iowa State Fair, too.